What timing? Hey everybody, how we doing?
We're doing great. Come on, baby. Let's go, Verl.
Let's go. Man, you know what? It's a wild day. I just had a break. We're in Salt Lake City today, and I have all of my coaches in Salt Lake. So it's coach training. So we have 3 days of coach training. And I just stepped out because I wanted to make sure that I didn't miss this call. I'm excited to be here. Brent, how you doing, brother?
I'm doing awesome, man. Couldn't be better.
There's a lot of energy in not just the marketplace, but in I don't know. I think that there's a revival that's happening that agents that have felt burnt out and tired are all of a sudden starting to get re-engaged in their business. And I'm going to tell you that I'm feeling that what we do right now is going to set us up for massive success in 2026. And I have a question for all of you. And this is a question that I asked my coaches. If the market grew by 50%, in 2026, is your business and are you set up to capitalize on the growth, or will you be scrambling to put all your systems and people in place to be able to take advantage of it? Are you going to be ready and you have all of your systems dialed in? You've got your transaction process. If you actually doubled in January, what would break? What would fall apart? And what would you have to fix? Because if you don't think that way strategically, what's going to happen is you bide your time until there's a new growth happening, and then all of a sudden you scramble to try and take advantage of it. And by then it's too late. Somebody's already taken your market share. And so that's where my head is right now. My head is how do we prepare our people to be ready for massive growth? Because it's coming. It's not coming in a minute. It's coming pretty quick. And I hope that you're ready for that. I'm going to give you a couple of things today. First of all, let me get my slide deck up and then I'll share it with you. Let's see. I'm just going to
Hey,
share my,
Verl, I heard a great one the other day from John Maxwell. He said,
okay.
when opportunity comes, it's too late to prepare. When opportunity comes, it's too late to prepare. It's exactly what you're saying.
100%. And I'm a big Maxwell fan, so I love that you're quoting him. Brent,
Mhm.
we're working on a program with Coach Simple right now for all 50,000 of Maxwell coaches to put their AI into Coach Simple and allow them to be able to have access to all of John's printed material, all of his books, all of his training. And I think, how would you like to have that brain and just ask any question and have an answer in Maxwell? I think it's going to be so cool. And so one of the things I want to share with you is I always give you a free giveaway or a download. If you haven't opted in as an insider, you just have to do it once and then we share it with you. So this isn't like the information exchange. This is just you subscribing. And then after the calls that you attend, we send you an email with the downloads, and there's always great downloads and tools. I wanted to share with you, Brent, what it looks like in my backyard last night. So we were in my backyard sitting around the fire pit, and all the coaches were there. And this is what gives me joy. It's the ability that we have to be able to teach others how to give back and share. And if you look really close in that group, you'll see a bunch of your people in that group. And they're amazing people that are in Brent's organization and that are all out there hoping, not only hoping, but coaching and driving and helping other people be successful, not just in EXP, but in life and in business. These are team coaches that are phenomenal. I don't know, there's Mike Koch and Jim Knowlton and so many others that are inside. Selena's here with Casey Jiha's team, and just being with friends, working and developing to become better coaches. And I love that people invest their own time and money so that they can serve others. And they don't need the money. They're not here because they need the money. They're here because they have a calling and they want to make a difference in other people's lives. And so here's what I'm going to cover today. I'm going to cover a concept called the river of real estate. And on our next call, what we do next Tuesday, I'm going to talk specifically about how to put on events that drive revenue. I'm a big believer, and I always have been, that events drive revenue. Events drive revenue. And we lead with revenue, not expense. And so we're going to talk about the kinds of events that drive real revenue in your business that will set you up for this massive growth that I believe is going to happen in 2026. It's the ride. It's the ride that you have to be ready for. And so let's just jump into it and let's talk about what the river of real estate is. And so um, how many of you would say that you have clients that are sitting on the sideline waiting for the market to change and then they're going to buy or sell? Anybody? Anybody have buyers and sellers that are sitting on the sidelines that are just kind of waiting the market, waiting for rates to drop, waiting for the economy to get better, waiting for tariffs to stop. And as soon as those things happen, then they'll get involved in buying or selling real estate. This whole concept of waiting till something happens is a myth. And the river of real estate is what we call a shift module. And when I share a shift module with you, this is a specific module that talks about a threat in the marketplace that causes people to pull back or pause. And then it gives you a script, a dialogue, a story, and tools on how to message people that want to pause. And what the river of real estate basically says, let me see if I can open this up for you. Let me see where this went to right here. No, that's not where I wanted to go. Let's see if I can go. I'm going to go and do it differently. Let me go right here to Workbench because I can get into this really fast this way. This is my coaching back office. And so I have these modules called the shift module. I'm going to go into the river of real estate and I'm going to tell you the story. So the story behind the river of real estate looks like this. So the river of real estate talks about an agent who's frustrated because he's getting all this negative news about the marketplace and he's got clients that don't want to move forward. And the question is, how do I move forward? And we reach into a Harvard study that talks about, regardless of what's going on in the marketplace, 13% of the US populations, both homeowners and renters, move every year. And here's why they move. People don't move because of interest rates, and they don't move because of the economy. They move because of events that happen in their lives. The river of real estate flows. One of my favorite things to hear from an agent and then go back and talk about is when an agent says, well, no one's selling anything in our market. I go, really? Is that true? Brent, is that really, really true? Is it possible that no one's actually moving in your market? Think about that. And I say, let's pull up the MLS and let's see. And we find that there's lots of people moving. And so we give you the story and we talk about how the agent figured out when someone says no one's moving in our market, how to calculate the river of real estate. The river of real estate continues to flow. I'm hoping that you're seeing my screen and you're seeing my shift module. And so there's a story and a worksheet of how we go through and we get into the river of real estate. The next piece is the study source that shows actually how you calculate the number of people are going to move in your area. And then we put all that data into our calculator. And calculating the river of real estate simply says you take the number of people and you divide that by the number of households in your marketplace that are going to move, and you multiply that number by a specific term. It's on a spreadsheet for you in a little tool that'll calculate how many closings you're going to have in your marketplace. Understanding how many closings you're going to have in your marketplace then opens you up to the actual dialogue. So here's the worksheet that you're going to do, and I'm going to give this all to you. There's the worksheet where you put in the population. It's all in the tools or resources or linked in the river of real estate. You divide it by the number of households, and this tells you how many homes that are owner occupied in your marketplace are actually going to turn over in the next 12 months. So it lets us know how many potential households are going to move in the next year. When you understand that, it then gives you the ability to message to it. So then we give you the script, and the script is, how do we actually use this tool when somebody says, I'm going to wait before I engage? And so it goes in and it gives you the dialogue that says the client says, I want to hold off. It allows you to give a script back and forth that says, I totally understand where you're coming from. A lot of people feel like they're stuck and they can't move forward. And the client acknowledges that and says, but guess what? Have you heard about the river of real estate? When we acknowledge proprietary language and we start talking about acknowledging how they're feeling, and then we teach them of how many properties are actually going to move, and they can choose whether or not they want to be one of the 15,000 or 240,000 or whatever that number is in the marketplace. They all of a sudden realize that now is a great time to buy, and it's also a great time to sell. You don't have to wait. The river of real estate continues to flow regardless of what happens in the marketplace. And as agents, we have the opportunity to put our business in a position to be successful regardless of what's going on in the marketplace. We're helping people right now in markets that are down 40%. Our teams are even, or they're up. And the reason they're up is because they are finding where the river of real estate is flowing, and then they're messaging to the people that are actually moving in their marketplace. Does that make sense? So think about the river of real estate, how it continues to flow, and then put yourself in the middle of where the transactions are. I went to Alaska one time. Brent, I don't know if you've ever been fishing in Alaska. The first time I fished in Alaska, we went out on the Kenai River, which was unbelievable. We went after king salmon. We caught these amazing fish. And then I did a seminar, and the next day I went out to the Russian River with my son, Nate. And they do a thing called combat fishing. And combat fishing is where you stand side by side with all the other fishermen and you can see all the river swimming up, all the fish, all the salmon swimming upstream to spawn. And there's so many fish in the water, it looks like you could walk across them. And you do this thing called the kenai flip. Now, this is really fun if you know what you're doing, but I'm dealing with a 12-year-old boy and me who's an average fisherman, and you have to flip your fly out and the fish aren't even hungry, but they go like this with their mouths. And so you have to allow the line to get in the mouth of a fish, and then you pull it and you hopefully flip it and you catch them in the mouth. If you catch them anywhere on the mouth, then the mouth, you have to put them back. And so you all of a sudden will do this flip, and it's like a symphony orchestra with hundreds of people on both sides of the river doing the kenai flip. I changed the name to combat fishing because it was a joke. I'm out there and I'm flipping and I'm getting other people's lines. My 12-year-old son's out there throwing his line out there. He gets a fish on. He goes like this. He catches it, brings it in, tangles up everybody else's line. And we got done. I was tired and embarrassed. And we caught salmon, but it wasn't any fun. So I told the story to my title rep, and the title rep says, "Oh, my husband is a guide. Let me take you fishing differently." And the next day, he met us at a private piece of land. We got in the back of his car, and we went on the same river, but we went fishing upstream. We stopped fishing where everybody else was, and we went to a little private spot. And there we had the whole river to ourselves, fishing in a place where not everybody else was looking for the same people. And what happened is it changed fishing for my son. He caught fish after fish after fish. We hooked him in the mouth. We were able to figure out what the kenai flip looked like, and it was unbelievable. My question to all of you is, the river of real estate is flowing, and there's lots of opportunity out there, but many of us are fishing in the same pond where everybody else is fishing. And it's time that we figure out where the money is and where the people are actually transacting, and go put yourselves in the middle of it. We have the largest transition of wealth that's happening right now with the baby boomers. We have people that are in homes that they don't want to be in anymore because they're too big, and they don't believe they can sell because their mortgages are 2 or 3%, even though they're overpaying for gas, electrical, yard care, heating, all of the things when you live in a big home. But they're retiring and they want to move on, and they want to move on with another generation that wants to move a house that can't qualify for home. There is so much opportunity out there, but we have to stop fishing where everybody else is. My message today is, understand the river of real estate is going to continue to flow. You have the choice to go fish upstream away from where everybody else is fishing. And we have to message differently to the people that are in the marketplace, because they want to hear that they have options. One of the options we're talking about at Coach Training today is, we talked about doing a wraparound mortgage or doing a seller financing, where when you have a bunch of equity in your home, you can actually buy another home, have a buyer come in and buy your property, literally buy it for full price, give you more than 20% of your equity in your pocket, and then you make money on the spread on the mortgage. And we can actually build their programs out there that protect you from the due on sell clause and other things that give you the ability to help this seller move on. When you as an agent are an expert and you give your client options, they see you differently. When you show up with, "Do you want to sell or not sell?" you sound like every other agent with a pitch. So stop being real estate agents and start being options dealers. Show up with real options. You can keep your home. You can sell your home on contract. You can sell your home a regular market. You can invest in the home and upgrade it, and you can do it different things with it that way from a pricing perspective. You have options. I'm not here to tell you what to do. I'm here to give you all the options. And as an options dealer, when you show up with that kind of expertise, they don't consider the other agents who only have commission breath and are trying to get your house listed so they can make their commission. If the best option for this family is to stay, I want them to choose that option. But I want them to choose it because they've given them all the other options. And then they make the right choice, and we help them whatever they decide. So make sure you download the River of Real Estate, play with the tool and the resources that's there. Think of who you are in this story, and let's have some fun. Let me give you just a couple of minutes of Q&A, Brent. Let's open it up to everybody. Tell me what you think about the River of Real Estate and the concept of fishing upstream.
Loved it, man. That was awesome. Come on, you guys, hit ask questions. Any question. There's no dumb question. Go to React. If you push React at the bottom, you can hit raise your hand. I just hit mine, put my hand up, throws you in the left-hand corner. We want to hear from you guys. Interact. Verl's one of the top trainers in America. And if you're coachable, you're going to ask him questions. So what did he say? go, how can I take the river? What were you talking about? Whatever it was that's on your mind, but make sure you ask questions. My phone's blowing up while we're doing this. I don't know what's going on. Good stuff. Come on, Hector. I see you there. Come on, Vince Tran, San Diego. What's up, buddy? Let's hear. Nikki, I see you there. Hi, Nikki.
Hector has a question.
But
Come on,
what
Hector.
questions do you have for Verl? Any question?
Hey,
Do
Verl,
it.
thanks for
Let's hear
the
it.
insights. Hi, Brett. Just my question is this. I know that the baby boomer is kind of like the market that's going to be transitioning, right? We see the transfer of wealth coming. I've been kind of hitting that market for the last year or so. And man, honestly, a lot of them are afraid to make a decision, right? They're comfortable where they're at. They're not seeing opportunities and moving into even condos or senior facilities that are expensive. What kind of advice would you give in terms of, what other options we can offer them, right? And then you touched on something that I don't know that it's been done. If it's been done for a long time in California, but the wraparound mortgage, right? Help me understand, how can we learn about that? Where can we get some resources, things of that nature?
Okay, so the company that I work with is a company called More Seller Financing, and I know that you know Ryan Brent, and they're a group of attorneys that have put together protections and insurance that protect your seller from the due on sell clause, to the point where if they got a due on sell clause, that's what most agents don't understand how it really works, and that there's a margin in there. If you've got a 3% mortgage, you can give somebody a below market rate mortgage. Um, I would use seller financing on all my properties that have equity in them. I wouldn't use bank financing, because what I want to do is I want somebody to give me half of my equity up front, and then I want to make a spread on whatever mortgage I carry, and I'll take that equity and buy another property or two with it. There's so many opportunities to do it.
There's also some tax sheltering with that, right? Because they wouldn't have to pay capital gains on that, right?
There are so many things with tax shielding, capital gains. I'm not going to give you advice on that. You have to make sure you have really sound advice, but I will tell you, yes, the answer is there's lots of advantages to
Okay.
doing that. The other thing I'll tell you, with the aging population, one of the biggest things is meeting them where they are and really asking better questions. So Hector, I don't show up with a bunch of options. I show up with better questions. So one of the things that the aging generation will tell you is they want to be closer to their kids. A lot of them hang on to their big houses because their kids might come home. Well, the kids don't want to come home. They want the grandparents to come see them. And so ask better questions, like, what is it that keeps you from seeing your grandkids right now? Are you positioned in a place that gives you the most flexibility in your life, or do you feel stuck in the home you're in? Ask better questions. And then once you understand all the questions, then we give them suggestions on what their options might be. Retirement communities are sometimes a good option, but not always. Another option is buying another property that has two master suites or two en suites, where you've got one on the main floor and one on the second floor. Another option might be to sell your property on contract to the next generation that wants to move in, and create an environment. I played pickleball the other day at a home that's probably a $3 million house. They have an outside pickleball court, a beautiful inside gym, and two master suites. They have two en suites, because the parents who actually have all the money bought the home if the kids would let them have their own suite in the property on the main floor. They want to be with their kids. They have the money. And so they've spent $1 million on a lot and built $3 million property. And so now the next generation gets to live in the home. That's a beautiful home with I mean, who doesn't want a pickleball court? And then have the parents with them. The parents just want to be by their kids. They want to be taken care of. And as kids, I'm the end of the baby boomers. So I'm the last year of the baby boomers. I want to be able to take care of my parents without necessarily moving in with them. And so how do we create an environment that gives both people what they want? And my wife's parents, my wife's mother especially, she is 80 and she has wealth, but she doesn't want to feel like she's a burden on anybody. But she lives in a house that is 6,000 square feet and has a yard that needs to be maintained. And she has to go downstairs 2 stories to get to where her laundry room is. And I'm starting to feel like we're not really taking care of her by giving her options. But there's a lot of stuff there. So we have to think through all those things. So we ask better questions. One of the questions I love to ask people is,
Yeah.
how long are you going to be okay staying exactly where you are? And she's like, well, maybe another year. And if the answer is maybe another year, they're probably not okay, but they're tolerating where they are. They're not enjoying or living life well. So Hector, that's a great question. Great
Yeah.
question.
Well,
Is
I
how
love
do
what
we
you're
ask better
saying.
questions, right?
We're going to go to Chrissy real quick.
Okay.
We're going to go to Chrissy real quick, but I want to say this. It's all timing. It's like, heck no, I'm in my forever home. I'm never moving. And they fall and hurt their back and can't get upstairs. They're ready to sell the home this month. They're never moving we're putting the home on the market next month. I've got to move. Ankle, knee, hip, game over. So you got to stay in
Yeah.
their life, stay front and center. Chrissy, last question for Verl. We got to wrap this up. Fire away. Where'd you go? Oh, you're muted. Chrissy, you're muted.
Thank you, Brent.
Hi, Chris.
Just get so excited. I said, thank you. This is my exact target market and kind of came around to it because of the passing of my parents. And we just barely got them out of their house just in time before. And we all kept there saying, oh my goodness, how grateful am I that we had thought about this and we got them going before, not after. So that's became something I've been very passionate about. But what really intrigued me and where my question is I've been told that EXP does not want us doing, like if they have a loan, like you were talking about, seller financing, if they have the loan, because the loan could be called due. Do you guys know, and maybe this is more of a Brent question than yours, Verl, like, is that true or not? Because that's what our brokers like, do not do these loans. They, but I think there's a ton of opportunity in this target market to do that.
I mean, I think it's up to the client to do whatever loan they want to do. It's not our financing, it's the client's financing. It's perfectly legal. And so if it's illegal in the state you're in, don't do it. And there's plenty of brokers that say you can't do this, and the other broker says you can. And the bottom line is this is your family. And if it's ethical, moral, and above board and doable. And I put Ryan's phone number in the chat. Everybody has his personal cell phone. The guy is a genius. 25 years in mortgage from Austin, Texas, works with Elizabeth Riley in detail, myself, Verl Workman. He's great. Remember,
He's
Coldwell
here. He's in the
Banker.
next room. Yeah. He's here with us at
Yeah.
Coach Tree. So here's the thing, Chrissy. When most people, when they don't have an understanding of something, err on the side of avoidance. And so because they err on the side of avoidance, and also the broker's job is to avoid risk. And so their job is to put you into a position where there's no risk. And so I encourage knowledge and then making the right decision. So gather all the knowledge. And then if you have all the knowledge you need to be able to have an option. And look, I would say that just because you present the option to the seller, very few sellers are going to choose that option. But the ones who do are going to be so grateful that you gave them an option. Most agents aren't showing up with any options. And that's why they don't participate in the river of real estate. It's continuing to flow without them because they haven't figured out how to go upstream and fish where people aren't fishing. So the whole concept is understand it, get the knowledge, and then be armed to the teeth with options when you meet with your client. And if you show up with options, if you really are an options dealer, the respect the clients will have from you, you change from a realtor to a professional advisor. I got to go. Hey, everybody. Thank you,
Love it.
Brent. Thank you for having
Thank
me.
you,
Love you
Verl.
guys.
I want to
Thank
say something to
you.
everybody. Verl's going. I want to say something to everybody. Verl, we'll see you next week. Same time, same place right here. Okay.
Thanks, brother.
Thank you, buddy. So you guys, I actually invited, like I told you I was going to invite people. I think I invited 17 people, and I think I got about 9 on here. Many of you are on here for my last minute, just quick as I could. I told you I would invite people. I did, and you're here. Luke's here, Jackson's here, Nikki's here, Tom's here. A bunch of folks got on here that I reached out to. Rick Violette's here, even though he left his phone on and we saw his shorts for a long time. That was funny. You were walking around with your video on. At least you were dressed. I've had it happen where people forgot the video was on. It was 8 years ago. We watched somebody change their clothes. We're like, oh, here. Anyways, so it happens. But one time. So we'll see you next week. But get people on here and come. You want to learn, you want to grow? Come. It's 2:10 Pacific, 5:10 Eastern. Verl is a rock star. And he's one of the top trainers in America. And it's a little piece, it's a little chink to the armor. You're just building the fabric of your life. You'll be better. Hope is not a strategy. Being here is. So keep sharpening your sword, your axe, I'm going to take questions offline. Tom, I know I missed you. Ray Jensen, great to see you last second. Hey, my buddy Ray. And Hector, you got my cell phone, right, Hector? Go ahead and call me. I'll take your call offline because we're way over. Love you guys. Proud of you. We'll see you right here, same time, same place, 2:10 Pacific, 5:10 Eastern next week. Bye for now. See you, Mark. Good to see you. Bye,
Thanks,
Clark.
Brent.